It's time for fun with watches with your friend, the Watchdog. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. It's time for fun with watches.
Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today, we're going to review the Huber Royal Diver in the Azure Steel colorway. Let's start with the wrist check. I'm wearing this Raxa Duca 9815, and Grok was wearing my Luica CH-1 in the Obsidian Flame colorway. Groga said they were able to pull 3PO out of the Sarlacc's mouth, and he had the tooth. So Dr. Pershing was able to clone a new tooth for Dusting Beaver so he could finish the album Lando is producing for him. But Dr. Pershing demanded more credits for the tooth than they agreed on. Lando told him if he doesn't give it to him, he'll sue him for every credit he has. It's the tooth or consequences. All right, let's take a look at the watch. Comes in a fairly nice box with the Huber logo. And here is the watch. It is a nice looking watch. I've been fairly happy with it. This is the first Huber on my channel. I saw the brand when I was doom scrolling Facebook and emailing every watch company I came across, and they were one of the few to respond. I would like to thank Huber for not ignoring me. Their response was a bit different, as they said they would not send me a watch despite my impeccable reputation, but would instead allow me to purchase a watch and return it for a full refund after the review. I chose the Royal Diver because I thought it was the best looking of the three basic models they sold, despite the fact that it only has 50 meters of water resistance, which takes it out of the diver category despite the name. What I didn't notice before purchase is that the dive style octagon bezel does not rotate, sacrificing functionality for stability. This watch comes in 12 different options with 2 different colorways of blue and black, having 6 different strap or bracelet options, which include a solid steel H-link bracelet that has no upcharge. There's also black leather for each. If you prefer rubber, you can have black, blue, red, or green. The watch is 40.9 millimeters if you measure at the flats of the bezel. It's 47.6 millimeters lug to lug with fixed protruding end links. It's 12 millimeters thick, so it's fairly thin for an automatic. Lug width does not apply, but 24 millimeters where the bracelet meets the case and tapers down to 20 at the butterfly clasp. It weighs 153 grams on the supplied solid steel bracelet with 2 links removed. The bezel is 8-sided, but it doesn't look at all like a royal oak. And it does have markers for a timing bezel, but it doesn't rotate. So you can't use it as a timing bezel. So it's just for show, which is kind of disappointing because they do call this a diver, and a diver would have a rotating bezel. And then we have the dial. We have a teak dial. We have the Huber name and logo up top. It says Royal Diver on the bottom. And then it says 165 feet, 50 meters. So that's not really diver depth, is it? So, and then, let me see. It's kind of hard to read. Let me zoom it in. It says designed in the USA. I think they could have left that on the case back. Then we have the hands. We have skeleton hands, fence post skeleton hands. And then we have the indices. We have an upside down triangle at the 12, batons at the 6 and the 9, dots everywhere else. And we do have minute markers. Then we have a date at the 3 with no border, no cyclops. And then we have this thin second hand. Then we have a signed push-pull crown. This is not a screw down. So another thing that screams not a diver. And this is a Miota 8215, so you can wind it. Then we have the crystal. Crystal is sapphire, and it must have AR coating because it does a pretty good job of not reflecting. So I've been fairly happy with the crystal. Then we have the case. Case is nicely brushed. It's got a good shape to it, and I like it. It nails that integrated sports watch design. So happy with the case. Then we have a display case back. Display case back is not sapphire. This is not a sapphire sandwich. And that's fine. You don't really need a sapphire case back. It's kind of pointless. Just adds more money to the watch. Then it says sapphire glass. Then it says 8215 auto mechanical movement. And I don't know why they would put the movement on the case back. What if they ever wanted to switch? Then it says all stainless steel. Underneath the case back is the Miota 8215. This is a 21 joule 3 hertz movement that hand winds and hacks now. It never used to. And it has a unidirectional rotor and about a 40-hour power reserve, and they're usually fairly accurate right off the shelf, but we'll go ahead and put it on the time grapher because I spent a lot of money on it. Here it is on the time grapher. I have the lift angle set to 49 degrees, which is proper for 8215. And it looks like we're running about 16 seconds fast, which is still well within specs for 8215. Looks like we have no beat error, so that's great. And it looks like the amplitude's nice and healthy. So other than being a little fast, there's no issues with this movement. The bracelet is a true H-link. Everything articulates just great. And everything's brushed too. Even the sides are brushed. And then we have the end links. The end links, there are separate end links, but they don't move at all. So they are basically protruding end links. And we have push pins, not screw pins. I'm perfectly happy with push pins. I don't have to worry about them coming out of me. Screw pins I always do. And then we have a butterfly clasp and it's signed. There's Huber and it works well enough. So happy with the bracelet. And once again, you can buy this watch with the bracelet for the same price as the watch on a strap. So I would definitely recommend the bracelet. Of course, if you prefer a strap, it's going to be harder to find a strap to fit this. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. That really looks nice and it wears nice and flat on the wrist. I only removed 2 links though, so if your wrist is much bigger than 8, you're gonna have to ask for some more links. Hopefully, watching this price, they'll send you more links without issue. And here is a strap designed for Nautilus, and as you can see, you can make it work. Of course, you would have to get some kind of pins that would stay in. Either that or use some Loctite on the pins you got. Here we are in the loom room. Just wearing the watch for review purposes, I could tell it had looms, such as walking into my dark garage. So I think this should be a pretty good test. As we speed up the time, we see a nice blue BGW9 glow. Everything starts out fairly strong and there seems to be decent legs, but as time goes by for a little while, everything starts to fade a bit faster than I would like. This is decent usable loom at first, but doesn't have the longevity of good loom. Plus in the later phase, the hands are slightly weaker than the markers. Still not horrible considering. What I like about this watch, it looks and wears nice. I like this blue bezel and teak dial. Has a true H-link bracelet. And the loom's decent. Not wonderful, but decent. What are my gripes and groans? They call it a Royal Diver, but it has no rotating bezel, no screw down crown, and it only has 50 meters of water resistance. So it's not really a diver, is it? Plus it says it's designed in the USA on it, which just clutters the dial. They could have easily put that on the case back. Do I recommend this watch? If you want a nice looking watch that wears great, then yes. If you want a diver, then I say no, because this watch is not a diver despite the name. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Huber Royal Diver, and I'll be back with another review. And I will be sending this watch back to Huber because they said I could review it and return it for a full refund. So that is what I will be doing. I will leave a link to Huber. I don't have an affiliate with them, but as far as I know, Huber is the only place you can buy it from. And I'd like to thank my Members Choice members. Last time I looked, there was 11 of you, and I unboxed the Members Choice watch, and it looks like there's 10 views on it. So one of you haven't seen it yet, but everybody else has. And I'll probably have it reviewed by next week, and members get a week-long head start on the review. But everybody gets to see it eventually. Bye.